room of the State Champs Sports Network studio. There we are. We are together now. We're good now. It's all good. Welcome back inside the video podcast room of the State Champs Sports Network studios on the backside of the campus of Lawrence Technological University in Southfield, Michigan. My name is Lauren Plant, and this is a Week 7 edition of the only live video podcast of Michigan high school football. This is Michigan Extra Point Live, designed to give you the scores, talk about the games we witnessed tonight, and for you to share your thoughts in real time. You could see us live every week on State Champs, Michigan's Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube channel. Spread the word. Couldn't do this without this man, the astonishing Scott Bernstein. How are we, my friend?
The mesmerizing. Love it. We're heading down the home stretch here. I can't believe we're already into the fourth quarter of the season. Champions are being crowned in league races, are going to be crowned in league races. We'll be giving out district and regional titles before you know it, and then it'll be Turkey Day weekend at Ford Field, and we'll be crowning some state champions. And I think we're already kind of getting an idea of where that's heading. You know, teams picking up steam late and building on momentum, and it's great. And this is the best time in terms of the football season, because all the rust is off and everyone's kind of going at high gear. And, it's like just letting it all hang out.
Yeah.
And you're seeing some great football.
Yeah, well, this is winning time, right? This is big time. First 4 or 5 weeks, a lot of times we'll see teams that don't end up being there at the end. And then yet we also see teams that maybe they had a little bit of trouble trying to figure things out, had some really tough competition, but now are starting to see the fruits of their labor.
Cream rises.
Yes, and we will talk about that, particularly at the game I was at tonight. The incomparable Matt Mowry will be joining us on the phone later in the show. Matt, along with the resolute Chuck Pellerito. They were filming the 5th installment of this year's 2019 rivalry series, Port Huron versus Port Huron Northern. Yes, Matt will school us on a little history of the rivalry and tell us what went down. Our producer
Blue
tonight,
water ballin'.
That's right. Our producer tonight is the ultra-creative Kia Tyus. Working the live chat tonight, the brilliant David Bodine in the other room. No Jenna Skelsky tonight. I know that those who
the
saw
lovely
her,
and talented.
Yes, she is just had other commitments. Let's just put it that way. Could not be here, was really distraught that she could not be here, but will be here next week, I promise. Now, before I get to the scores, love going the way of Lawrence Technological University. I said the LTU football team was Indiana Wesleyan last week. That was a bye week, so my bad. They will be there tomorrow on the road at Wesleyan. Good luck to the Blue Devils. And I have to say the other fall sports are doing incredible this fall at LTU. Girls volleyball 10-0 in conference play. The soccer teams are doing great. Lots of great things happening here.
From blue water balling to blue devil balling.
That's right. Yes, exactly. Thank you to Hungry Howies, famous for flavor. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Cancer Awareness Month. We'll have another delectable
I had a slice
pie
when I walked in the building from a long night of work. I was
Yes.
like, I need some food, and I just crushed a slice.
Yes, there you go. We'll have some at the end of the show to enjoy. Thank you to Hungry Howies, as always. And vote in the Hungry Howies Mr. Football and Anvil Award competitions at statechampsnetwork.com.
I will say I was at Walled Lake Western for their first place clash in the LVC with South Lyon.
Yes.
And the Walled Lake Western concession stand is one of the better ones out there.
Nice.
They have a lot of good selection.
Yeah.
They've got the burgers, the cheeseburgers, the dogs, the fries.
Yeah.
It's like you're kind of going to like a professional event.
And what did you partake
I
in?
had a cheeseburger and some
Okay.
French fries and a smoothie. It was very. It quenched my hunger.
It picked you up.
Yeah.
Good. Well, again, and at the game I was at, which was at Wayne State, they've got Andiamo Pizza there. So
I was just talking, quick aside,
Yeah.
to one of the owners of Andiamo Pizza, and I was like, you really need to do a better job of marketing your pizza, because I've only had it at like the Wayne State, the Prep Kickoff Classic, and it's good pizza.
Yeah, right.
But you don't think of, when you think of pizza, you don't think of Andiamo. I was like,
No,
you need to have
you
just
think
like
of steaks.
Right. I'm like, you need to have like a takeout, like where people can
you
get
should.
Andiamo pie.
Yeah. Maybe they should do like a sponsorship here
Yeah.
on State Champs, and we
Yeah.
can just promote that part of it. I think that would be fantastic. Or maybe your
But
podcast.
I digress.
Yeah, maybe your crime podcast too. Yeah, that would
I
seem
don't know.
appropriate. Yeah, well,
Dovetail there with some of their past.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry I brought it up. Again, also regarding Mr. Football and the Amble Awards, you really need to check out our weekly updates. Sean Belizean handles the Mr. Football side. The former Canton coach Tim Beckler talks on the Anvil side, which is the Linebackers Award. We do those every week, and you can find those exclusively on State Champs social media and at our website. I also want to thank the Michigan High School Athletic Association. We have a banner link at statechampsnetwork.com that will take you directly to the MHSAA score page. So that's where you go for your scores. And as part, one of the things that really surprised me, because I just looked into it before I left for my game tonight, as part of the Student Broadcast Association, they have a ton of games that you can watch live each week on the site. And they had 29 games on the network
That's
tonight.
pretty cool.
29 football games. You go to MHSAA.tv, you subscribe. It's like $6 a month. And they have many other sports, too, besides just football. They've got soccer playoffs going on right now.
I would have loved that so much when I was in college. When I got to college in Indiana in the late 90s, I was so desperate for Detroit news.
Yeah.
And it was like the kind of the early ages of the internet. So it was like sometimes I was reading scores like a week late.
Yeah.
But to be able to be out of state and go stream games or watch games live on a platform like that, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. All right, it is week 7. More playoff qualifiers tonight. Time to get scores from teams ranked in the State Champs top 25. So here we go. Our number 1 team is still Muskegon, and they are still number 1, 59-0 winners over a winless Grand Rapids Union team. Our number 2 team right now is Belleville. They were undefeated, taking on Livonia Stevenson. They won 56-7. No surprise.
Not like the squeaker last week.
Yeah, exactly. Chip Valley, we've got them ranked 3rd. They took on Sterling Heights Stevenson. Always a pretty good rivalry game, but not this year. 34-6, the Big Reds win that one.
They're cruising.
Yeah, West Bloomfield ranked 4th in our rankings now. 5-1 coming in, taking on a winless Bloomfield Hills team, which kind of surprised me. They haven't won a game this year, and they didn't win today either. 44-0.
They really turned the corner there in the 4th quarter of that Lake Orion game, and they just kind of they flipped a switch, and they're just playing a whole different brand of football right now than they were the first half of the season.
They sure are. Oak Park continues to roll. We've got them ranked 5th. They took on Troy again. Troy this year winless, also coming in 51-0.
Shout out to Oak Park's 2-sport superstar Malik Carr.
Yeah.
He committed today to Purdue. He's going to play basketball and football. Will enroll in January in hopes to be on the Boilermakers basketball team for the 2020 season.
I have a question as we digress again quickly. There have been many athletes who says, I'm going to play this sport and another sport,
and it doesn't happen.
Especially like basketball, and it's
too much of a workload.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of
hasn't been a ton.
Who can you even name one in recent memories? Did Deion Sims play both when he went?
But it's always like you're a contributor on one, and then you're not a contributor on the other because you need to choose one to devote most of your time to.
Right. I remember Drake Harris was going to try to do that at Michigan State before he decided to
go
to
Malik
Michigan.
is saying that he wants to be on the basketball team this winter.
Okay.
So that's pretty ambitious. But Malik Carr,
and Purdue's good.
Yeah, and Malik Carr is
arguably
the number 1 receiver in the state of Michigan senior class. Either him or Rayshawn Williams or Abdur Rahman Yassin are kind of the toss up there, but all very talented pass catchers.
Our first upset of the night, our 6th-ranked Orchard Lake St. Mary's undefeated at Detroit Catholic Central tonight. They lose 20-14.
They were up 14-0.
That's right, 20 unanswered points for the Shamrocks. They needed that one bad. They're 4-3 now on the season.
The Catholic League Central race right now is just...
We kind of predicted this could happen.
It's so up for grabs. It looked like St. Mary's was going to walk their way into the Prep Bowl, and they still are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're qualified for the Prep Bowl, but now I don't know what the numbers are, but who will actually play them.
It's going to go to tiebreakers.
Yeah.
It really is. Number 7, Rockford, undefeated on the season. That's always been a surprise. Took on Hudsonville tonight. It was 5-1. Rockford wins 17-7. Good on them. The game that I was at tonight, Warren De La Salle and Davison. De La Salle came in 3-3, and we'll talk about this maybe in a little bit, but they just defensively just got it done. Brendan Sullivan, 4 picks, 2. I think there were 2 in the end zone, 1 right near. 22-0 the final in that when we had Davison ranked 8th coming in.
Last year they probably had if not the best, one of the best cornerbacks in the state, in Josh DeBerry. But his running mate last year is a senior now, very quietly having a very good season. Ricky Pearson, one of the best cover corners.
Yeah.
Kind of under the radar guy to look out for De La Salle. I believe he had either one or two of those picks.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. It definitely was spread around, and they were swarming tonight, and they needed that win. They're 4-3. Number 10, Birmingham Groves beat Stony Creek in a close one. 28-23, the final in that one.
Stony Creek played Oak Park close.
Yeah. Number 11, South Lyon went into Walled Lake Western. We had Western ranked 23 after just kind of where they were in the season, and they certainly
got blasted.
Yeah,
and
40-10, the
Coach,
final. Western wins that one at home.
Coach Greeno wanted to emphasize we didn't just win this game, we dominated this game.
It's true.
And they dominated with their backup quarterback in it for the final 3 quarters. So, tip of the hat to Walled Lake Western. We've talked about it on the show before. They were picked 4th in the league going into the season. Still don't really understand why. They have 3 Division I recruits on that team, and I really believe that the sky's the limit for this group. I would not be shocked if they make a run to Fort
And
Field.
the quarterback got hurt.
He got hurt, had a concussion. He's in concussion protocol right now. But their backup quarterback, I'm going to call him Johnny Angel, Jonathan Abley. He is a bolt of lightning, man. He can do it with his feet. He can do it with his arms. Looked great in relief. He looked really good in relief a couple weeks ago against St. Mary's. So it could be the best backup on that side of town.
Undefeated Midland took on Bay City Central. They win that one 49-7. Our 13th ranked team, Lake Orion, beats Rochester 46-7. Livonia Franklin, we have them ranked 14th, took on our 22nd ranked team, Dearborn Fortson. It was the Tractors getting it done in this one, 33-21. Good bounce back win for Fortson after losing to Belleville close. So they moved to 6-1 on the season. Franklin handed their first loss on the season. Number 15, Plymouth, undefeated on the year.
What a surprise!
Yeah, took on Northville, beat them fairly handily, 42-7 the final in that one. Number 16, Chelsea, taking on Adrian. Chelsea undefeated. They blank Adrian 55-0. Edwardsburg, also undefeated. We got them ranked 17th. They beat Three Rivers 50-7. Mount Pleasant and Saginaw get together. Mount Pleasant, 51-0 winners. It is Woodhaven, our 19th ranked team, over Edsel Ford, Dearborn Edsel Ford, 35-7. Number 20 on our list, Lapeer takes on Flint Carmen Ainsworth and beats them 49-12. It was our 21st ranked team, Byron Center, over Zeeland East. Byron Center remains undefeated, 7-0. They beat Zeeland East 49-7. Saline and Skyline got together. Skyline has not had a win this season. They don't win tonight either. Saline 56-14 winners. And Battle Creek Lakeview, who we had them as state-ranked honorable mentions, just wanted to see if they could get into the top 25. They just might have, as they beat number 25, St. Joseph, 14-0. Yeah, exactly. St. Joseph handed their first loss at Battle Creek Lakeview at 7-0. We also had our rivals game, which we're going to talk to Matt Mowry in just a little bit, so we will talk to him about that score. I'll give it when he comes on the line. Other quick key games before we take our break. Romeo over Macomb, Dakota, 36-7. Marine City over St. Clair, 35-10. That is our main event. Detroit Country Day and Detroit Edison got together. Country Day 56-8. Country Day undefeated.
Yeah, let me throw a couple up comments about the Country Day Edison game. First of all, Country Day surprising people with that 6-0 start. They got an intriguing wide receiver cornerback in Saborn Campbell, who might be one of the best baseball players in all the Midwest, but he's doing really well on the football field right now this year, having a breakout season on both sides of the ball. Moving over to Detroit Edison, I don't know if people were paying attention, but there was a little controversy over a state rushing record last week with Edison.
Yes.
They claim that their running back, Vince Cooley, ran for like 700 yards on 8 touchdowns.
Right.
It's being disputed, and I think it's at the level of the MHSAA.
I think it was total yards.
Well, Bishop Foley, who they ran it against, is saying that he ran for like 375 and 8 touchdowns.
But he had some special teams things which racked up the total yards.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But I know that it's at the MHSAA right now, and they're going to have to confirm or dispatch that.
I think
that
it was
state
total
rushing
yards.
record.
I think he had probably ran a couple back, and that was really where it was. Okay, let's move quickly here and get through this. Paw over Vittsburg, 35-9. Kingsley over Maple City Glen Lake, 53-14. Beaverton beats Clare, 20-0. Grand Rapids Catholic Central over Spring Lake 42-14. Almont over Richmond 28-10. Big win for Almont. They're still undefeated. Richmond handed their first loss of the season. 2 5-1 teams got together between Reading and Jonesville, 50-20. Clinton and Ottawa Lake Whiteford got together. Clinton 44-20 winners there. Stanton Central Maltcom took on Reed City, and they were handed their first loss. Reed City goes to 5-2. They beat them 34-6. Addison over Grass Lake 20-16. Temperance Bedford over Ann Arbor Pioneer 42-28. Harbor Beach beats Unionville Sebowing 21-14. USA. Ishpeming over Iron River West Iron County 28-0. The Hematites are now 5-2. Harbor Springs loses to Johannesburg's Lewiston 37-18. Mason over Williamston 20-9. Parma Western needed overtime. Coldwater needed overtime to beat Parma Western 14-13. Dexter beats Pinckney 49-25. That was a big game. 2 5-1 teams getting together, and the Dreadnoughts are now 6-1. And it was Saginaw Swan Valley over Freeland 45-6. Okay, so that gets you caught up on our top 25 and some other key matchups from Week 7. We are going to get to our first timeout, but first, it's time for you to be the referee.
Welcome to Be the Referee with veteran MHSAA official Sam Davis.
Today we're going to talk about the rules that govern the quarterback, specifically when the quarterback is being rushed and is looking to throw the ball away to avoid the sack. Under both pro and college rules, they have what's called the tackle box. When the quarterback gets outside of the original position of the offensive tackles and throws the ball and it reaches the original line of scrimmage, there is never a foul for intentional grounding. However, under high school rules, there's no such thing as a tackle box. If the quarterback is either in pocket or scrambles outside of the pocket and now is trying to throw the ball away to avoid the sack, there must always be a receiver in the vicinity of the pass to avoid an intentional grounding foul.
Thanks, Sam. You can be a referee. Go online now to MHSAA.com to register. Be the Referee is a production of the MHSAA Network.
I chose Lawrence Tech for the architecture program and volleyball team. Architecture is a great fit for me because I love math and design. Now I combine them with technology to create beautiful structures. At Lawrence Tech, I didn't have to wait until my 3rd year to start designing. Our hands-on education begins right from day 1. And I'm really excited about LTU's Design Center in Detroit. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Hungry Howies wants to thank you. Yes, you, how long can I stay on this couch guy? Super dad who prevented birthday disaster. And the late night study group that ordered 17 pizzas. Thank you to the Holy Moly Did You See That fans. And thank you, Whole Slice and One Bite Kid. Because for every pizza sold in October, we make a donation to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And together we've raised nearly $3 million just by doing what you love. Hungry? Howies.
This is Alan True from 24/7 Sports with this week's State Champs Recruit Report, brought to you by My Student Aid. The Illinois Fighting Illini offered one of the best young players in the state of Michigan this week. That's Detroit King freshman quarterback Dante Moore. Moore entered high school already holding several scholarship offers, including one from Michigan, but his play during the fall as varsity starter has led several schools to offer, including West Virginia and now the Fighting Illini. Sticking in the city of Detroit, Detroit Cass Tech junior defensive tackle Duran Ray picked up an offer from the Toledo Rockets, a school that has been prioritizing the state of Michigan in recruiting. Ray had a good summer and used his 6'3", 260-pound frame and athleticism to earn offers from several schools, including a Big 12 opportunity from Iowa State. His play as a junior has now led to several new offers, including the Rockets. And then finally, Oak Park offensive tackle Rashawn Benny picked up an offer from Penn State. The Nittany Lions already have a verbal commitment from his senior teammate Enzo Jennings and are now going after Benny, a 6'4", 275-pound offensive tackle and defensive end. The Nittany Lions also offered Detroit Country Day offensive tackle Caleb Tiernan this week, so they've been busy in a state where they've had success in the past with getting guys like KJ Hamler, Donovan Johnson, Lance Dixon, and more. For this week's State Champs Recruit Report, I'm Alan True.
The Recruit Report is brought to you by My Student Aid, Michigan's go-to resource for student financial aid. Go to michigan.gov/MIStudentAid for more information. Hey everybody, welcome back to Michigan Extra Point Live. My name is Lauren Plant, joined by Scott Bernstein, Kia Tyus, our producer tonight, and David Bodine answering your live chat. You can join us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. And joining us now, we are thrilled to have the quarterback for a very victorious Warren De La Salle football team tonight, who brought in 6-0 Davison to Tom Adams Field.
Them.
They sure did.
Back up by 75 with a loss.
Absolutely. They won handily. Final score in that one was 22-0. And we have the quarterback, Anthony Stepmitz, joining us right now. He is a senior captain. Anthony, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm here.
All right, there you are. How you doing, man?
I'm well. How are you?
I am good. It was good to see you tonight.
Lived up to the reputation as the fearless field general, Anthony.
And MLive's kind of running it now as kind of the best 4-3 team in the state right now.
For sure.
But, talk about just the resilience of your football team after kind of how things started, not the way you guys wanted it, but where you are now.
Yeah, at one point we were 2-3, so we had all the coaches and the captain and leaders had to keep everyone's mindset up, and everyone's mindset stayed up, and we stayed focused and to get these wins coming up. So,
Anthony, kind of talk about the recovery from last year and kind of having to watch that state championship from the sidelines after you had such a good start, and then obviously this season, as Lauren just said, didn't start off the exact way you wanted it to, but you seem to be a real linchpin and a catalyst in getting this offense back in gear. Kind of talk about recovering from that injury and then finally kind of hitting the ground running now as the season progresses and we head towards the home stretch.
The injury was really tough. It was kind of my first ever injury kind of like that. And it kind of came at the worst possible time, finally getting my chance. But, I think it made it a little easier. The team was winning in a way, watching them win. And I think winning for sure made it easier for me. The other guys hurt with me. And then coming back this year was good. I was like a captain still. And, we're kind of getting the ball rolling now. So, got a few more games to go. Hopefully we get in the playoffs.
You got a good protection unit there too, even without Grant.
Yeah, we got a few guys were hurt tonight. We had Jaden Disney, our left tackle, was hurt, and Grant was out. And they stepped up big tonight. It was good protection, and we were able to run the ball pretty well, which was a big key in the night.
Talk about what it's like to be on the sideline and watch the way your defense is playing right now.
Primed.
It's comforting. It's really comforting because if we go 3-and-out or whatever, there's a pretty good chance that, they're making them go 3-and-out. So, defense has been really key this year and last year, and they carry this team and just keep doing what they're doing. We're going to be all right.
I was looking at just reading some of the coverage from tonight's game, and you made a great point. We always talk about the Catholic League being one of the toughest divisions, if not the toughest in the state. But then you guys also had to play a team like Muskegon. Your schedule is brutal, week in, week out. But it's when we get into week 7, week 8, week 9.
Pays dividends.
Exactly. So just kind of talk about the gauntlet you guys have run through as far as teams. And then when a team like Davison, who just has not been tested like you have, you're ready to go. You've seen it all.
Yeah, opening up against Muskegon was, was pretty crazy. Now they're ranked nationally, I think. So those games and in the Catholic League is always tough, hard-hitting teams, real good defense, and of course that leads up to these kind of like Davison and all these other kind of teams, which those Catholic League games really prepare you for like you said, week 7, 8, and 9, and all these other teams. So Catholic League's best league in the state.
What did you like from your counterpart, Brendan Sullivan, the quarterback for Davison? Did you get a decent evaluation of him from the sideline?
Yeah, I know he's a good player. Had a rough night, but our defense is suffocating. They don't make it easy on any quarterback or any player. So, kind of what I was expecting from the defense.
Did you guys get any clarification from Coach Verska?
Coach Verska.
Coach Verska, wow. Coach Giannone. Wow, going back there a couple of years. About what the tiebreakers look like and who's going to be playing in the Prep Bowl now?
Yeah, I think since CC beat St. Mary's, I think it's going to be CC and St. Mary's in the Prep Bowl.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure if we're going to be 3rd or 4th in the Catholic League. If we're 3rd, we play a PSL crossover. And if we're 4th, they're going to be playing West Bloomfield.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brother Rice is going to the loser in that tiebreaker, and they're going to end up having to face West Bloomfield in week 9, which I know that the coaching staff at Rice are not thrilled about.
Yeah, so I'm not.
I believe you guys get the tiebreaker for that. So I think you're playing the PSL team.
Yeah, which would definitely help us out in that part. So.
Yeah, we're talking to Warren De La Salle quarterback Anthony Stepnitz, and is that how you pronounce it? Stepnitz, right?
Yeah, Stepnitz.
Stepnitz, yeah. Talk about your punter tonight. This was kind of the side story. He averaged 44 yards on 4 punts. I know he had a 65-yarder, but he was pinning them back.
Yeah, he had a great night, and I think special teams and our kicker, they're really big in these kind of closer games and these bigger games. Special teams is really important, and he nailed some field goals for us that were huge, and his botch snap 2-point conversion was, I don't know where that came from, but that was nice to see.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They had kind of a botch snap on a thing, and sure enough, he just kind of picked it up and threw it, even though it was raining at the time, so it was a wet field.
Is this a group of guys, Anthony, the senior class, that have been together since elementary school? Because you can really see a cohesion there. Obviously, the last couple years you saw it, but this year with a team that, frankly doesn't have the playmakers that you've had in the past years, but it just seems like this team has got so much heart and so much grit that it's overcoming some of the lack of huge game changers. Can you talk about that and how the chemistry in the locker room is translating to the field?
Yeah, I mean, we're really close to the team. The seniors have been together. I mean, a lot of us did come from different schools, though, just because, private schools, so guys come from all over. But I think once we got to De La Salle and all of us on the freshman team together, and, that was a year that we really came close and all got to know each other. And we've been talking about our senior year since for our freshman year, and how we're looking forward to it. So it's really all coming together, and everyone's got one goal.
And since we've got you, at this kind of pivotal time of the season, and you've been around, the last, couple of state champions, you guys are working on a three-peat here. Talk about, at this time of the year where this team kind of compares to some of your other teams who got ready to make long runs.
Yeah. I mean, we're coached really well. Coach G has a lot of experience in the playoffs and state championships, and a lot of our guys had a big role in that team last year. So a lot of guys know what it takes, and Coach G knows what it takes, and I think that's a big thing too, is his experience.
I just want to throw something out there. When I looked at the score and I saw that you guys had won, the first image that came to my head, and I'm going to dovetail this back into what we were talking about, Coach Verska. The first thing that popped in my head is when I saw that De La Salle just won these 2 back-to-back big games, got themselves back in the race.
Huge.
It looks like they're going to qualify now and have a chance at a three-peat. The first thing that came to my head was that video, and Anthony, you might have been in junior high school, but when that De La Salle player was like, I think we got our swagger back. Do you know what I'm talking about, Anthony?
Yeah. It was kind of talk about that.
It went viral.
I think we wanted to remake that. We wanted to remake that.
You should.
It reminded me of that. I was like, whoever that guy was, the echoes, the ghosts.
I forget. It was classic.
But it looks like I'll be honest with you, Anthony. I was kind of counting De La Salle out a couple weeks ago.
And
then I
got I should check myself. The Coach Giannone team and the type of intestinal fortitude that all pilots have, I should have really thought twice before I was writing you off the page.
Yeah. Hey, man, well,
for sure.
I'll tell you what, congratulations. And, we are looking forward to seeing how this goes the rest of the season. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Keep grinding, baby.
We'll catch up with you guys soon enough.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Okay, you're welcome.
Anthony.
Take care.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Knock him dead.
All right, so that was Anthony Stepnitz, the quarterback for Warren De La Salle. Hey, did you hear the news? Studies of high school football players from ages 50 to high school football players who played 50 to 60 years ago did not, and I repeat, not show an increased risk of neurological disorders compared to their non-playing classmates. That might surprise you. And the game now is a lot safer than it was then. I mean, they had leather helmets, for goodness sake. High school sports, including football, have never been safer, and sports participation is a great way to enhance a young person's overall education. Learn more at the health and safety page at the MHSAA website. This has been a message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics. We'll be right back.
Hungry Howies wants to thank you. Yes, you, how long can I stay on this couch guy. Super dad who prevented birthday disaster. and the late night study group that ordered 17 pizzas. Thank you to the Holy Moly Did You See That fans. And thank you, Whole Slice and One Bite Kid, because for every pizza sold in October, we make a donation to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And together we've raised nearly $3 million just by doing what you love. Hungry? Howies.
I chose Lawrence Tech for the architecture program and volleyball team. Architecture is a great fit for me because I love math and design. Now I combine them with technology to create beautiful structures. At Lawrence Tech, I didn't have to wait until my third year to start designing. Our hands-on education begins right from day one. And I'm really excited about LTU's Design Center in Detroit. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Welcome back to Michigan Extra Point Live. This is the live video podcast that is talking Week 7 high school football here in the state of Michigan. Lauren Plant here with Scott Bernstein, and joining us on the phone now is Matt Mowry, the digital managing editor here at State Champs Network and StateChampsNetwork.com.
The magnificent one.
That's right, the magnificent. It is. It's really Scott and Matt that do the bulk of all the news and blogs and everything, rankings, all the stuff you see at StateChampsNetwork.com. So big kudos to you guys.
We love doing it.
That's right. And Matt was out in Port Huron tonight for the big Port Huron Northern Port Huron game. This is the latest in our rivalry series, and this was a good game. Port Huron Northern pulls it out 29-26. There were two 5-1 teams. They go to 6-1. So Matt, looks like you were treated to some good football tonight.
Yeah, this was, as we talked about with the coaches and the players afterwards, this was kind of the whole enchilada wrapped up because there was a share of the MAC Blue title on the line, a playoff berth for whoever won the game, and on top of that, the cherry on top, I guess, was the winner gets to take home the Cecil V. Brick Fowler Trophy and have that in their athletic office for another year. And trust me, those kids wanted the brick about as badly as they wanted anything else in this game. But the other stuff is awful nice to have too.
So describe what the trophy looks like.
It's a football on top of on top of
I thought it was a brick.
No. The brick part is because that was the nickname for Brick Fowler, Cecil V. Fowler, who was the football coach at Port Huron High School when they just had one high school, he led Port Huron High to a mythical national title back in the 30s, and then he was the athletic director. Or I'm sorry, mythical state title. When they were determined by,
still impressive.
That's still impressive.
Right. When they were determined by rankings back in the day, and then he was the athletic director when he hired Bob Hayes, who led them to two more in the 50s, and then they split in the 1960s is when Port Huron Northern was built, and that's when this rivalry started. So he was kind of the founding father of this rivalry, and he is actually the one who created the trophy, so that's why it's named after him.
Well, Matt Mowry has some really interesting reads, and he always does a little kind of preview of the rivalry and kind of talks about some of the history of it. What was are some of the more interesting things that you learned this week as you delve into Port Huron Northern versus Port Huron?
Well, some of it, what I just talked about too, with the what a powerhouse Port Huron High School was back in the first half of the century, because a lot of times, and we all use the website Michigan-football.com. It's a great resource, but it only goes back as far as 1950 because, quite frankly, the records of a lot of places are pretty sketchy back further than that, and that's really when Port Huron was really a powerhouse, was back before the 1950s and then into the 1950s before there were two high schools. And some of the names back then are awesome. There were I know there was Brick Fowler, and then there were a couple of other good nicknames. But one of the interesting things I thought was both of the coaches in the rivalry played at Port Huron High School. Actually, Larry Rowlands played for Ryan Mullins, who was the offensive coordinator at the time, but is now the head coach. And both of them, in their playing days at Port Huron High School, were trying to end a drought, a little bit like the current Port Huron kids are. They haven't had the brick in a couple of years, and they really wanted to get it back. And both of the coaches went through one of those scenarios when they were seniors in high school. Mullins, his senior year, they were not able to get it back, and they actually didn't get it back for another decade. But Rollins was able to lead his team to a win in the rivalry game that year and bring the trophy back. And it's been one of those rivalries that it seems lopsided on paper when you look at it back to 1950. Certainly, I think 34 wins was what Port Huron Northern had coming in of those 53 games. But over the last decade, it had been 7-3 Port Huron, and actually the Big Reds were 11-9 over the last 20 years. So it's been a very even rivalry over the last few decades.
So now it's 2 in a row that Port Huron Northern takes it, and it could even be 3 in a row. Yeah,
3 in a row.
3 in a row. But talk about the game. Talk about how the Huskies were able to get it done.
Well, it was really one of those games where neither team could get a whole lot of momentum for about the first 3 quarters. And on the first play of the fourth quarter, a 3-year starter at quarterback for Northern, Seth Klink, basically was about to take off running, and it looked like he saw the receiver clear on a crossing route out of his ear hole because he whipped his head around, and then he threw a pass out in the flat to Nick Platzer, and it was a 3rd and 12 play. Platzer runs it in for a 38-yard touchdown. The two teams swap a couple of punts back and forth, and with 8 minutes to go, this was the sequence that was really the backbreaker. James DeLong runs a punt back about 60 yards down to the Port Huron 10, and then 2 plays later catches a 10-yard pass from Klink to put them up even more, to expand on the lead. And on the PAT attempt, the snap was a little high, and the ball ends up in DeLong's hands, and he throws kind of a wobbly pass to the corner of the end zone to convert the 2-point conversion to make it 29-19. Then Port Huron, fights back with 2:32 left and scores. Go for the onside kick because they only had 1 touchdown left, and who recovers the onside kick? James DeLong. It was the 3 huge plays within the span of about 8 minutes of game time that really clinched this game in the fourth quarter.
All right, so we've got a little bit of static on you, Matt, but it's totally fine. I think what we'll do is we're going to get into our key Week 8 matchup, so I want to keep you on the line, and I also want you and Scott to I'm going to read all the games, and then you guys can comment on a couple of them that we're looking forward to next week. I do want to mention just quickly a couple 8-player scores that we got in our as far as our small school rankings, or 8-player rankings. Number 6, Deckerville took on Kinday North Huron, and it was an 18-0 win for Deckerville. And it was Hillman all over Pellston tonight, an undefeated Pellston team, 38-14 the final in that. So no rival series next week, so Matt's going to get a break. He'll be able to cover some local football, and we'll resume in Week 9 with Midland versus Midland Dow. The PSL playoff semifinals are on Thursday, October 17th. Just so you guys want to know that's for Week 8. But here are some of the games that we're going to be paying attention to next week. Muskegon at Muskegon-Mona Shores. Birmingham Groves at Seaholm. Hancock at Calumet. Lake Orion at Clarkston. Romeo at Chip Valley. Dearborn-Fordson at Dearborn. St. Joseph at DeWitt. Grand Rapids Christian at East Grand Rapids. Traverse City Central at Escanaba. Lowell at Grand Rapids Forest Hills Central. Grand Rapids Catholic Central at Grand Rapids West Catholic. Rockford at Granville. Manchester at Grass Lake. Grosse Pointe North and Grosse Pointe South getting their annual game. Usually about 3,000, 5,000 people show up to that one. Holland at Holland Christian. East Kentwood at Hudsonville. Byron Center at Hudsonville Unity Christian. Fowlerville at Lansing Catholic. Brother Rice at Lapeer.
Did Rice win tonight?
They
were up in the fourth quarter.
I do not know.
They were playing Guerin Catholic in Noblesville, Indiana.
Yeah, I do not know. Belleville at Livonia Franklin. That should be a good one. Utica Eisenhower at Dakota. Ravenna at Muskegon Oak Ridge. Farmington at North Farmington. That is going to be the main event on State Champs next week. Breckenridge at Oscoda.
Rice won 12-0.
Okay. Good for them. Fowlerville at Pewaukee, Westphalia. Detroit Catholic Central at River Rouge. That should be interesting. Ann Arbor Pioneer at Saline. Montague at Whitehall. Olivet at Williamston, Zeeland West and Zeeland East getting together. And next weekend, De La Salle's at UD Jesuit, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's is at Divine Child. So I'll start with you, Scott.
I am squatting.
It's getting late. Tell me some of the more of the matchups maybe that you're intrigued with.
Being an Oakland County guy,
That's all of them. No, that's it. If you turn it over, that's all of them right there.
Oh,
They're all there.
okay.
Yep, there you go.
I don't think Groves and Seaholm will be that close. I
Yeah.
think Groves is going to win by 2 touchdowns, even though Seaholm's had a very good year. The last couple of years, they've done a really good job with not a ton of next-level talent. Lake Orion Clarkson, I expect Lake Orion to, all due respect to Clarkson, I expect Lake Orion to win by 2-3 touchdowns. Looking into the Catholic League, obviously, first North Farmington and Farmington should be really exciting. The last time North Farmington was 7-0, you probably have to go back to the late 70s or early 80s.
Long time
in the
ago.
Ron Holland era. So Coach Harrington, Coach Herstein, Mill the Thrill, Dave Thorne, and whatnot have gone over there and done an outstanding job. Jacob Bosamra has established himself as probably a top 5 quarterback in the junior class. Thrown for, they blanked Okemos, and I don't know what his stats were. He had like 1,500 yards.
I actually have him right here. He was 7 for 7 for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So Rice and Lapeer, that's a big game that I'm eager to see. Ike and Dakota should be exciting. And then Catholic Central and River Rouge is
Yeah.
intriguing.
It is intriguing. How about you, Matt?
Well, obviously, with my mind focused on all the rivalry games,
Yeah.
Montague Whitehall, I know they're going to do the traditional coin flip on the bridge between the two schools.
Nice.
On Sunday, I believe they're going to get that going.
That's
so,
cool.
Yeah, that's one of those. That's a great one. I too am eager to see the Lapeer Rice game.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get another measuring stick for both of those teams.
I think
kind of see where they are.
do-
And obviously the Farmington North Farmington game is huge.
Matt, do you think Rice gets in even if they lose these next two? Let's say they lose to Lapeer and lose to West Bloomfield and they're 5-4. Does Rice get in?
I think so. I would have to look back at the playoff point numbers to see exactly where they rank.
I think I think they believe that this win today gets them in no matter what happens the next 2 weeks. But I
think they probably do.
Okay.
I know that Mona Shores may not be the team that maybe they have been in recent years, but anytime Muskegon and Muskegon Mona Shores get together, especially when it's going to be at Mona Shores' house.
And when you have an all-state caliber quarterback in Cater Brojma.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
he's, on the west side of the state, he is probably the best pure drop-back quarterback.
Yeah, so
and Cam Martinez is not a guy that's going to beat you from the pocket.
That's right. So it'll be interesting to see if if Muskegon handles that one easily or if that is a really tough game. I think another game that will be interesting is we're seeing Romeo play a lot better than maybe when they started, and Chip Valley is going to be at home. This is a tough rivalry game, and every once in a while you have a little bit of a letdown. So we'll see if the Big Reds continue to play big. Being at home is a big boost, but Romeo's going to come in with all the dogs.
Really, really impressed with what Romeo did after a little dip last year. They look like a powerhouse again.
Yep. So we've got some really good games coming up next week. And, of course, if you have particular games that you would like State Champs to cover, and you want us to shoot, you can also always talk to us on social media or send us an email at the contact page at statechampsnetwork.com. Real quick, I want to get to our comments of the week presented by the MHSAA on Facebook. Derek T-Bone Brunson said, wow, week 7, where has the time gone? And that's exactly true.
Every year, every season, it's like... But thinking back to when I was playing high school sports, those seasons felt like they went on forever.
They did.
They didn't.
Yes, they did.
They only feel short when you're older and you're doing it from a work perspective.
Right. And Matt Bowman says, I think it's Sterling Heights he's talking about. Said Sterling Heights went from 3-24 the last 3 seasons to 5-2 and champs in the MAC Gold.
Stallions.
That's right. So good on them. And thanks, Matt, for bringing that up. It's always nice to give some of the schools that we don't get a chance to talk about very often their love, especially when they're having a great season. So good on them. And I always like the people over at Sterling Heights, especially when we're covering. We just haven't covered them in football all that much on
Last
State
thing I'll
Champs.
say, we've been doing a lot of hyping up of what's going on at North Farmington, and deservedly so. But let's not overlook what's going on the other side of town with Corey and that crew of Farmington Falcons. They won a district last year. Corey took over a program that wasn't really on the up and up. They had kind of slid back, and he's got this group playing really, really good football these last 2 years. Won a district last year. This year they're off to the 6-0 start. A lot of those Harrison kids have come over and are doing a great job for him. So he's doing a great job of building that program back up after Coach Bechtel left after like 2 decades.
All right, guys, so that's pretty much the show for tonight, and I just want to tell you, it's kind of late. You're hungry. If you played football tonight, that you're hungry, and even if you had a little something, you want more. And you know who delivers? Hungry Howies, baby. And every week we try to get something on here. I wish, Matt, you were here, but next week you can enjoy this manjo with us. But again, the Asiago crust,
so good.
and
so good.
we are good because we got a lot of work to do here at State Champs. We got to put all the games together for the shows. So make sure you watch State Champs. Airs every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Fox Sports Detroit. Airs throughout the week on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Plus. Also, we'll have all the highlights of everything that we shot tonight and what we'll be having on the show this week. You'll be able to see those highlights this weekend on all the State Champs socials. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you think of ways that we can make this show better, let us know. Jenna Skelski will be back in the seat. That will make it better next week. And we'll have kind of be crowded in here next week. It'll be fun. So make sure you join us week 8. It's going to be crazy. We'll see you next time.
See you next week.